Good Tuesday morning. Wake up, Charlotte. Good Larry Sprinkle here along with Chris Mulcahy. We originally were just talking about heat and nothing but heat, but now we're talking about some big storms that have moved into the area this morning. I was watching early this morning, maybe around 2:30ish up in West Virginia, big line of storms. An MCS, mega-scale convective system that we see not that often here moving into the area.
Yeah, so sometimes they can survive through the overnight, but it's not always that they intensify as they get into an area. But if you've walked out the door, already been outside so far this morning, you know how humid it is. So this storm is just feeding off of all that energy. And it's a pretty decent line here. And then check out what we're looking at right now. About 1 million people affected by this storm system. And then, Larry, this is now moving into northern Mecklenburg County, where we're actually seeing some pretty impressive images around Lake Norman.
Lots of heavy storm activity there to Lincolnton, to Maiden, all the way to Sherrills Ford, over towards Lowesville, Huntersville, Concord Highway 49, Interstate 85, Interstate 77 northbound, Highway 16 northbound, 321. All those areas are being affected by this severe storm system. Let's take a look at that. Let's go to the other computer, look at Lake Norman, and you can see that storm system coming right across the lake there at Freedom Boat Club. You can see, I would say maybe 30 minutes ago, you could see all across the lake, but that's that line of showers and storms. This is a view from our camera over in Dallas, from right atop the tower there, 1,450 feet up. Look at that low deck. This deck of clouds is really lowering over there. So that's what we're talking about. Once again, that severe thunderstorm warning. How many people are affected by this?
About 1 million people.
1 million. That's a lot. And Chris and I were talking about we don't see this type of big, elongated storm system like this in this part of North Carolina in particular.
Yeah, usually you might see it like the length of Mecklenburg County. I think I've seen the biggest one is pretty much from like Huntersville to Rock Hill, but this is extending.
It's 110 miles of territory.
That's crazy. Yeah, this shape too is very odd. So the amount of people that are affected here is substantial. And Larry, another big feature of this is the dangerous lightning, but also it's slowing down. So that means the amount of rain that's coming down, rain rates at 1 to 2 inches per hour. We are looking at some flood issues along this line.
So we got flooding, we got high winds, we have some even large hail. I would even say quarter-size hail. So it's the hail, the high winds, and the amount of rainfall. So it's all these coming together to make this a very strong and severe thunderstorm. And once again, this is an anomaly in meteorology. You were talking about all the ingredients. The humidity is there. We're not seeing the particulars that we normally see. A frontal boundary. This is once again an MCS. Kind of describe that.
Yeah, so an MCS, a mesoscale convective system, is pretty much when you can have like a bunch of thunderstorms that are forming outflow boundaries. But eventually, sometimes they can gather together and they form what's kind of called that bow echo. And then the stronger they get and then the longer they go, sometimes they can step up to derecho status. And that's almost what we had yesterday from this system. There was over 200 wind reports that were stemming from Indiana, Ohio, southern Michigan, down through West Virginia. And this is what's left of that system. Now, we are starting to see it start to deteriorate slightly overall, but this system is still producing some really gusty winds. We had 2 downed trees along Highway 19. That was in Avery County. Also, a large tree that was right along 221 in Ashe County. It does look like the western side of this system, I think, is definitely the stronger side of things, but it's the rain rates that are going to be affecting Mecklenburg County. So as you can see there, about 1 to 1.5 inch rain rates embedded with this, really coming down in Huntersville. So we are going to be expecting times such as Charlotte, seeing this close to 8:15 has this. I think it's going to be a little bit earlier because you can see that front edge is already outrunning my line. So really within the next 20 to 25 minutes, that's where you're going to expect the heaviest rain around Charlotte. Not an ideal start because we are right around the peak traffic times as well. So keep that in mind as you're heading out the door.
So this storm system is going to affect the southern Piedmont. So we're talking about the Charlotte metro area, Matthews, Mint Hill, over towards areas in Union County, all the way down to Lake Wylie, Mount Holly. This is a long line of storms moving slowly, 20 miles an hour. What that's going to do is allow for the amount of rainfall that you're going to see, heavy rain. You're going to see the potential for some flooding issues, also ponding of water on all the highways. If you have travel plans, Interstate 77 northbound, Interstate 85 north to southbound, particularly Highway 16, Interstate 77, 321 between Maiden and Lincoln, very heavy rainfall. Travel is going to be very dangerous with this storm system, which is a severe thunderstorm, by the way. It doesn't list all the counties. We're talking about how many people? 100,000 people?
Yeah, it was 100,000,
yeah.
then it jumped up to 300,000, and the peak I saw was about 1.3, so it's about 1 million people. So the main people that are affected here, of course, Charlotte, Huntersville, Kannapolis, Matthews, Concord, all within that. And it kind of breaks up a little bit right in between the Catawba County area up into Caldwell County, a little bit stronger off towards the west. But going back to our Lake Norman Freedom Boat Club, Cam, you can see the winds rocking and rolling, but the winds, I think, are only getting up to about 40 miles per hour at this point, maybe seeing that 60 mile per hour connotation. But regardless, this is not a great start to the day.
It's a dangerous storm, a lot of cloud to ground lightning. We've seen a tremendous amount of lightning with this, so that is a major issue. You got the lightning, maybe up to quarter-size hail, and the high winds. Someone said they were watching a while ago, didn't say anything about Mecklenburg County getting rain. Yes, you're going to have rain. Do not mow your lawn this morning.
No.
Yeah, it's not a good time to be out. You can see the extent of the rain, how much rain we're getting
Larry,
right now.
I'm actually going to walk away because now in live time, this severe thunderstorm warning has been expanded, and we could expect that. So you can see the secondary one. That one is at 7:45, but the newest data is showing this one that is getting a little bit further down the south. That's now until 8:30. So that means it's going to be areas in the southern part of Gaston County that are going to be affected by this. So let's throw a new time on here. So that goes still moving south at about 20 miles per hour. So here's the leading edge. We can dip it down right there, bringing it down to the south. That's going to be affecting areas. So Charlotte has been a little bit more accurate time. So really in the next 10 minutes, you're really going to have some of that heavier rain. Mint Hill about 8:08, Hemby Bridge about 8:19, Stallings about 8:27, and then we're starting to get further into Union County by about 8:30. And then I wouldn't be surprised if we continue to extend the severe thunderstorm warning because, Larry, this first started at about 5 o'clock. Up in Virginia into Ashe County. That was the first one, and we're already starting to see more of these storm reports pop up. We had this one right here, completely down tree blocking a road. Here's the tree that I was mentioning earlier that was near 221. Here's that other one along 221. Here are the two trees that are along Highway 19. And some people haven't woken up yet and seen some of the damage here, but definitely the worst of the storm was a little bit further off towards the west, but an absolute mess right now, Larry, around out some of our more populated
Let me
areas.
just remind everybody that severe thunderstorms can have winds up to 100 miles per hour. So we're going to see the potential for a lot of high winds out there. This is really a dangerous time with that severe thunderstorm warning. You're going to see the high winds, the very, very heavy rainfall, the cloud to ground lightning, even some damaging hail within the storm system, which is right now moved into Mecklenburg County, extending all the way towards Lincoln County, northbound into Iredell County along Interstate 40. From around Statesville over to Hickory to Morganton, and then the storm system is tracking and moving to the south about 20-25 miles an hour. Grassy Creek is in Ashe County, North Carolina. So that's why the whole storm itself, it's a long line storm, and it extends all the way from Ashe County into Union County in North Carolina. That's over 120 miles an hour, over 120 miles of territory. It's a long and narrow line of strong and severe thunderstorms, and Chris is putting kind of a track on that. That's the length track of how long the system is, and it probably in width is probably maybe, I don't know, 40, 45 miles in width. And we'll put a little track here and show you the timeline of this to give you an indication of some of the neighborhoods that will be affected by this. Dallas at 7:53, all the way into Matthews by about 8:21 this morning, Chris.
Yeah, and it's incredible about how much this has slowed down. So let's bring up our estimated how much rain that we've seen so far from this system. It doesn't seem like a tremendous amount, but we are popping up some values that are pretty decent. This one right here, the most recently recorded about 1.4 inches, and that's going to be much higher when this is said and done in northwestern Cabarrus County. That system that just sat just about an inch and a quarter just southwest of Mooresville around Cornelius, and then we're seeing other values up in the mountains that were actually a little bit closer to 2 when it was all said and done, because those rain rates are very impressive. And I'm not completely removing from the severe capability that you could have some of those gusty winds. It's just that how slow this is moving. And Larry, there's a chance we could have some training thunderstorms a little bit later on in the day. Yeah. And don't forget that we are under one of these, low chance for severe storms. And even though we're not technically at the part of the day that I think the National Weather Service is really preparing for this, you still have this potential. So this really could be our main line. They'll try to stabilize things, but then all that moisture eventually is going to evaporate. Once that evaporates, it's just going to make it feel really muggy and kind of rotten still through the day.
This map was actually made over 24 hours ago, so we could probably take that orange area and extend it back across the southern Piedmont, because we are seeing the severe weather threat even this morning across the area. And it's just an anomaly. It happens sometimes. You get these giant areas of high pressure, the ring of fire that's kind of ridging around that. You get the compression of the air, you get all that instability, and you get the high humidity, all the components it takes to give us the severe weather that we're seeing right now with that severe thunderstorm warning in effect. And as you can see, it has been extended quite some time. Now, this is, I think, not all the counties are included, but definitely Mecklenburg, Lincoln, Gaston, Cleveland counties. If you're in the southern Piedmont, you are certainly under the gun as far as these storms.
Yeah, again, pretty substantial. We are all preparing for the heat, and it's one of those days that heat and humidity is what leads to storms.
Yep.
And Larry mentioned earlier, it's not just about having a storm system. These are just kind of bubbling up on their own. They're feeding off the environments. These are buoyancy storms, that it's literally just the rising moisture and warm air that turns into storms, and then they kind of almost develop their own entity. And that's exactly what this one did. And that's why it's taking its own speed, its own pace. And then sometimes once they get out of the flow of a front, as this one is doing, it slows down. So I want everyone to know, and then I'm putting my traffic hat back on. This is still a very peak travel. Now we're looking at torrential downpours extending from Charlotte north on I-77 all through the northern part of Mecklenburg County. It's getting a little bit lighter as you head into Iredell County, but this also includes parts of 321 around Lincolnton. Very heavy rain there. That's going to slip into Gastonia here very shortly, and then soon the I-85 corridor is going to be completely drenched. So please drive safe. Plus, on top of that,
485 is definitely being affected around Huntersville, Highway 49 over towards Harrisburg, Independence Boulevard, Highway 74 coming out of uptown Charlotte over towards Mount Holly. We'll be here throughout the morning to let you know what's going on and to let you know about any more severe weather threats to the area. But be aware, this is a severe thunderstorm warning. That's in effect at 8:30. Could be extended beyond that, because this is a long line of storms stretching all the way from the heaviest from Cleveland County and Bellwood all the way over to areas in Cabarrus County in North Carolina. We'll have the very latest coming up in about 5-6 minutes right here on WCNC Charlotte. Have a safe day.
Drive safe.